G'day, this is Jamel Boukabou, 2-star executive with Youngevity International. You are about to hear from who I believe is the best doctor on the planet, Dr Joel Wallach, including a Q&A, and also one of the highest income earners on the planet, one of the top 25 in direct selling, Tom Chenault, Diamond Ambassador. And he is going to be on the call as well. And we are going to do a business call on Monday. So if you want to know more about the business, contact your associate, your upline. If you don't have one, contact myself, Jamel Boukabou, 2-star executive. I am not a doctor, I am not a healthcare professional, but I am a distributor for Youngevity 90 for life. So hope you get something out of this call. Leave a comment, a message, share it, and I will see you on the next one. Aloha.
Nutrition to prevent and reverse obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, kidney disease, heart disease. You don't have enough nutrition for your bone marrow to make white blood cells and platelets, okay, and stem cells to make antibodies to kill the viruses and eat them. And so that's why people who are 63, 73, and 83, they will get serious complications of COVID and may even die because they're not making the things that defend them because of nutritional deficiencies. And so it's imperative. These issues are not due to age. I'll repeat that. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, liver disease is not due to age, it's due to nutritional deficiencies, which you accumulate over time. And so if you get rid of the bad foods, maximize absorption, you take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, which is our biggest hammer in the toolbox, 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. If you only weigh 110, 115, 120 pounds, I would get another bottle of selenium. 1 bottle of selenium comes with it. Take 3 of the selenium at breakfast, 3 at dinner time, and then a half a dose of everything else twice a day. If you weigh 150 to 250, I would go ahead and get 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. Okay. Don't forget the MSM. The MSM, I take 3 of those twice a day as 1 bottle because it's a big bottle. And they're designed to give you the nutrients necessary to help rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, discs between the vertebrae, bone matrix. And then also you need the vitamin D3. You need 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. You need the collagen or glucogel, and we have collagen peptides. Our glucogel is collagen from beef skin and beef tendons. The collagen and collagen peptides is from fish, poultry, sheep, and beef. And so I take both, okay, to help maintain my cartilage and my ligaments, my tendons, connective tissue, bones. But the most important thing is I'm maintaining my bone marrow in functioning condition. If you're not giving your bone marrow what it needs to operate and maintain itself, it fills up with scar tissue and fat, and it can't do its job. Now, I'll give you an example. Herman Cain, who was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza, a billionaire, 74 years old. The last day of June of this year, he was diagnosed with COVID. Now, he had 8 of these pre-existing conditions. He had obesity, he had arthritis, he had a colon issue, and the doctors were treating his symptoms for years. By the end of June, by the end of July, by the 29th of July, about 30 days after he was diagnosed, he's dead. When they did the autopsy on him 3 days later, he didn't die of a respiratory viral infection, which is what they were treating him for. He died because his red blood cells were filling up all his capillaries and prevented oxygen from being spread throughout the body. And that's why he was having kind of respiratory distress. And so because his bone marrow wasn't functioning and making white blood cells go and kill and eat the viruses, the bone marrow wasn't making stem cells to make antibodies to go and kill the viruses. The bone marrow wasn't make platelets to prevent bleeding, to prevent you from bleeding to death. And so he died. He was a billionaire, CEO of Godfather's Pizza. All right. And he'd been ill for many, many years, but the doctors were treating only the symptoms. It's imperative to work on these things before you get sick with COVID. Now, it's flu season in the Southern Hemisphere, so flu should be starting to hit Australia about now. It happens every year about this time. And they don't know what's going to happen because of this smoldering around of the COVID-19. Is it going to join with the flu and cause something really, really terrible? We don't know that yet. So I urge everybody to consciously work on getting rid of their diabetes, their high blood pressure, their obesity, their arthritis, their liver disease. And remember, all of these are nutritional deficiencies. All of these are nutritional deficiencies. And so it's easy for you to get rid of them. And of course, you have all the products through the Youngevity program. And again, I like the when you have this many issues, you got to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils of any kind, no gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. Everybody in the household, so there's no cross-contamination in the laundry and the food preparation surfaces and the bed and the couches and the rugs and all that kind of stuff. Dog food, cat food, bird food, all that's got to be gluten-free. And this is forever, for life. Now, I'm going to tell you kind of here, you guys, your population, I looked it up, is 24 million people. You have 897 COVID deaths and 27,000 infections, the 24 million people. When you look at Thailand, they have 66 million people. 66 million people, okay? So it's kind of like 2.5 times what you guys have, okay, a population. They have 3,600 infections and only 59 deaths. Why is that? That's because they're a classic Asian country and they live on rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables. They do not eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And so they don't get gluten problems damaging their intestines. And so they're able to absorb nutrients, so their bone marrow is happy and functioning and making white blood cells and antibodies and platelets and red blood cells. And this is true of most European countries. We're in big trouble because European countries eat a lot of wheat, whereas Asian countries eat primarily rice and sweet potatoes. So when you look at, again, England, the UK, they have 55 million people, and they have 42,000 deaths and 515,000 infections. When you look at Canada, with 37 million people, they have 158,000 infections and 9,481 deaths. Okay. And let's look at Mexico. Mexico has 128 million people. They have 748,000 infections and 79,000 deaths. America has 7 million. America, US, has, 328 million people. We have 7,459,000 infections and 210,000 deaths. And so this is just the COVID. And, we have doctors, and we have antibiotics, and and yet we have 210, no, I take that back. It's gone up here, and just since we've been talking, to 212,000 deaths and 7,607,000 infections. That's all because we're eating oats. And of course, we have a very large population of Latinos, Mexicans in California. So when you look at the Californians, it's kind of scary. Okay. California has 39 million people. Okay. 39 million people in California. And so it's about 50% more than you guys have. And they have 810,000 infections and 16,000 deaths in California. Why is that? Why do they have so many deaths? Well, that's because 32% of their population is Latino, and they're eating wheat for everything. Noodles, flour tortillas, pan, bread. Even their beer is made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Where the Asians, even their beer is made from rice. Okay, so that's imperative. Let's compare China. Okay, let's compare China to India. Both of them have 1.4 billion people. China has 90,000 infections, only 90,000 infections, 1.4 billion people, and 4,000 deaths. India, exactly the same population, 1.4 billion people, but they have 6 million infections and 98,000 deaths. Well, 98,000 deaths is, a lot bigger than 4,000 deaths. So why is that? Well, the northern half of India eats wheat. The southern half of India eats rice. 5% of the deaths in India are in the southern half where they eat rice. 95% of the deaths in India are in the northern half of India where they eat wheat. 84% of the infections are in the northern half of India where they eat wheat, and only 16% of the infections are in the southern half where they eat rice. So, and all from India, they're all the same peoples. So there's no mixtures of cultures or anything like that. So when you look at all this information, it's very clear that if we eliminate wheat, barley, rye, and oats, which is going to be a big cultural thing because that's our big part of agriculture, is a big part of our agriculture. We drink our beer, we eat our bread, we have our pancakes and waffles and bagels and crackers. Our cereal for breakfast, okay, is oatmeal, cream of wheat, Wheaties, Cheerios, all that kind of stuff. This is what we've done for years and years and years. All right. Well, we did pretty good, and every year since thousands of years, people live longer and live longer and live longer, and we credited, you know, everybody had food. There was no famines and so forth. You could always buy food in the stores, and everybody had a little land where they could grow some gardens. Until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street, New York City, on the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, Thomas Edison pulled the switch on the first commercial electric generating plant. And within, I don't know, 10 years, 6 to 10 years, there were 60 new, quote, genetic diseases, unquote, that appeared that nobody had ever seen before. Well, they weren't genetic diseases. They were just nutritional deficiency diseases, because when we went to electricity at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, guess what? We lost our source of minerals. Our source of minerals over the years had been the wood ashes that came from the wood stoves, the fire pits, and also the fireplaces into the gardens. And wood ashes are really minerals that were left when you burn the wood for fuel. And everybody used to put the wood ashes in their gardens. And so they're getting those minerals. Now you have to appreciate that trees and crops, they're going to suck up the minerals that are in the soil. Nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blank around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ice cream. Now, Australia and New Zealand have a volcanic background. Okay, Queensland in Australia has that Great Barrier Reef, okay, off there, which is dying. Is dying not because of fossil fuels, is dying because 2 of the main dams for hydroelectric on those rivers in Queensland cut off the food supply to the algae that was feeding the reefs. More importantly, those algae that were feeding the reefs were not efficiently converting carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to oxygen in the water for the fish and in the atmosphere for us, and also carbon chains, because it takes 17 minerals for algae to do that. When you cut off the food supply to the ocean, okay, by damming up the rivers to make electricity, we have a problem. Now, in the world, there's 1 million dams for electricity in the major rivers. There's 2 million dams for water conservation and irrigation. There's 400 million farm ponds to collect water for their animals and so forth. And it cuts off where the creeks and small streams would dump the minerals in the ponds. And so the minerals never got into the rivers, into the ocean. And so the reefs are dying. Every place that they put up a dam on a volcanic island chain, like Japan or Hawaii or any place else in the world, guess what? And of course, the Great Barrier Reef, the reefs would die because we cut off the food supply to the algae that the reefs were eating. And I was a featured speaker last year, well, one of 5 featured speakers, if you will, at the Tesla meeting. Okay, and that was my presentation. I showed pictures of the maps and where the dams were and where the reefs were and why the reefs were dying, not because of pollution, not because of fossil fuels putting carbon dioxide in the air. Plants should flourish because carbon dioxide is the food for plants. So why did carbon dioxide keep going up? Well, that's because we cut off the food supply to the ocean. And the ocean has 3/5 of the plants on Earth. Okay, so when you cut off the food supply to the ocean, you cut off the ability of the ocean to convert carbon dioxide in the air to oxygen and carbon chains. And so the carbon dioxide goes up. Now, the reason why we can't put out the fires in California, they just keep burning and burning and burning. You put them out, and you put your equipment in the truck, it pops up again. Is there's so much carbon dioxide in the air, the atmosphere is burning. Because there's so much carbon dioxide in the air, the atmosphere itself is burning. That is our problem. And so what we have to do is two things. Number one, get rid of all the bad stuff out of our diet and maximize our absorption. Okay, get rid of the bad foods so we can maximize our intestinal function. Okay, absolutely no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, rye, oats, no sugar. And then we have to supplement with the 90. Now, my thesis, okay, for my postdoc, it's kind of like a PhD degree, of 20,000 autopsies is in the Smithsonian Institute's National Treasure, because they show there are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no genetically transmitted birth defects. All the diseases we thought were that were genetic, and all the birth defects we thought were genetic were really just nutritional deficiencies, okay? And so it's one of those things where we have to make sure that we're able to absorb the nutrients, and we're able to get the nutrients, and we're able to utilize the nutrients. And then we'll add 25 to 50 healthful years to our life. When you look at the American statistics, we rank 41st in the world when it comes to longevity. There's 40 other countries whose peoples live longer than we Americans do. That's recent statistics. There's 40 other countries whose peoples live longer than us. Now, we spend more money for healthcare than all the countries in the world combined. All the countries in the world added up, we spend more money for healthcare and all our health insurance and doctors and surgeries and hospitals and medical schools and all that kind of stuff. And yet 40 other countries live longer than us. And that's because we do a lot of things wrong. We eat improperly and we don't supplement. And people say, well, my doctor said I can get everything I need just by eating well. Well, first thing is you have to understand that nutritional minerals, like any nutritional mineral, whether it's calcium or selenium or copper or iron or whatever it might be, or cobalt, these nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins, okay, just like gold and silver. They occur in veins like coal. And so if we take carrots from each of our 50 states and analyze them, they will not have the same minerals in them, because plants cannot make minerals. Plants only will reflect the minerals in them based on the soil they were grown in. Okay, that's why I never see an analysis of minerals on carrots, you know, in the bag in the grocery store. Why is that? Well, because are there 3 in there? There's all plants need is 3, or is there 6, or there 8, or there 12? You don't know. You need 60. That's why my thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. And of course, I'm one of the 2 fathers of epigenetics, along with Bruce Lipton. And the science of epigenetics was named in 1940 by an English professor. He had a PhD degree in sort of physics, I think. And he was a professor, and he was noticing that people or the mother and father would have a cleft palate, the babies were born normal. Or if the mother and father had diabetes and the baby didn't have diabetes. So he'd say, well, this genetic thing isn't right. There's some other factor. So he came up with the term epi, which means before or above. And so he knew there had to be some other thing. So he created the term epigenetics. Okay, so we have the book Epigenetics. We have the new CD set where Bruce Lipton and I were interviewed a couple of weeks ago. So that'll be ready next week. There's a 2 CD set, 2 hours of being interviewed and answering questions and so forth on the science of epigenetics. Very proud of that. And in this book, it goes into all the diseases that are said to be genetic that really aren't, and say why and so forth. I'll give an example. Down syndrome is one of those sad birth defects where the baby's born trisomy 21, where they have 3 chromosomes at 21, as opposed to 2 like everybody else. And usually the mother and father are perfectly normal, and the baby, okay, winds up with trisomy 21. What happened there? Well, there was a guy by the name of Evel Knievel, this motorcycle daredevil. He could do backflips on motorcycles and all that kind of stuff. He had a niece by the name of Lauren Knievel. And in 1977, she called me and said, look, Dr. Wallach, I've got an embryo. I'm pregnant. I've got an embryo that's 2.5 months pregnant. Okay, it's going to be born in 2 weeks. And I went to and had a checkup. I just went and had a checkup. And they said, I've got a Down syndrome baby through a ultrasound. They could show me the picture of the Down syndrome baby. But also they did an amniocentesis. They took some fluid from my uterus and showed me the cells in there that showed the baby had trisomy 21. And they said, look, do you want an abortion? Because this is not going to end well here. When that baby's born, it's going to be a mess. And it's a very serious form of Down syndrome. It's not a mild one. I mean, this is bad. And she called me up and she said, well, can you reverse this? I hear you talking about epigenetics all the time. Can you reverse this? I said, well, I've never been asked to do that. I have no experience. But if you want to try it, I will do that. But I don't want to be held responsible if it doesn't work out because, you know, I've never done one. So I can't give you I cannot give you any real confidence that it's going to turn out well. She said, I'm not going to have abortion. Let's do it. So I gave her the 90 essential nutrients. And of course, the baby was born perfectly normal. Okay. Now, this is a case report. This was not a study where I had 500 white rats with Down syndrome that we did this to. Okay. So this was just a case report in one case, very famous case, because Lauren Knievel and being the niece of Evel Knievel. So it was a famous story because of her association with this famous guy. But I have to tell you, let's look at some other statistics. When you look at what age group of women have the highest rate of Down syndrome babies and other birth defects, it's always women over the age of 35. There's really a high rate when they get over 50. Whereas younger women in their teens, like 18, 19, 20, up to 25, they have an extremely low rate of birth defects, okay, because they haven't been eating gluten for 30 years. Their intestines still have those villi, can absorb nutrients, and so the embryo is safer. Now, when these young girls say, look, I want to get pregnant, so I'm going to start taking my prenatal vitamins before I get pregnant, they're able to absorb that because they have those villi. When they're 35, 40, 50 years old, all those villi are gone. And even if they take prenatal vitamins, they cannot absorb them. And so that's why there's a difference in rate of these birth defects in women over age 35 and women under age 25. This is not difficult to understand. This is very simple stuff. But this is all within our control. Okay, this is all within our control. If everybody, again, gets rid of the bad foods, fried foods, processed meats, oils, glutens, wheat, brown oats, sugar, and takes the 90 essential nutrients. I mean, this is everybody in the household. It can't just be the lady. It's got to be everybody. I've had ladies who have all kinds of problems. She said, I'm gluten-free. I said, no, you're not. You're getting gluten from somewhere. I am gluten-free. I'll swear in a Bible. Execute me if I'm lying. I said, well, do you cook for the family? Yeah, I cook for the family. I said, well, do you cook spaghetti and waffles and pancakes and cake and pies? Well, yeah, that's what they want. Well, you're getting cross-contaminated because you might as well be swimming in wheat flour, okay, cooking all that stuff, which is made from wheat. So you're getting cross-contaminated by cooking for somebody else. And so if we want to eliminate these things and lower our risk of diseases like COVID and the flu, so our bone marrow will be better able to defend us because it's able to make all these white blood cells and antibodies, we need to get rid of the bad stuff, including wheat, brown oats, gluten. We need to take the 90 essential nutrients and support our immune system and support maintenance repair, because everything wants to break down. Everything wants to go to zero. Everything breaks down, including living tissue. Everything needs the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 acids, 3 fatty acids to form a human being, to maintain a human being, and to repair a human being. Because all cells in our body, whether it's the liver and the kidneys and so forth, require replacement because they don't live forever. They die and they need replacement. Some of my favorite stuff, of course, is obesity. We can get rid of that at a rate of half a pound to 2 pounds a day with our keto caramel diet, which we sell the bars and the shake. 2 meals a day, you'll lose a half a pound, 2 pounds a day. Type 2 diabetes is a simple nutritional deficiency. That's not genetic. You take our healthy blood sugar pack. I don't care if you've been a diabetic for 30 years, it goes away in 30 days. But you got to stay on it forever. You can't go back to your old ways. You got to stay on the change of the diet and the change and supplements forever. Another one that I like is dialysis, where you have kidney failure, quote unquote, and you're on dialysis. I get people who have not urinated in 10 years. They've been on dialysis for 25 years. They haven't urinated for the last 10 years. They're on dialysis 6 days a week. I put them on our program for dialysis, which is our Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, our Ultimate Daily Classic Tablets, and our collagen, and our MSM and vitamin D3. And blood pressure comes down, and they start urinating after 2 weeks. They'll reduce their dialysis from 6 days a week to 3, and in 2 more weeks, they're totally off of dialysis after being on dialysis for 25 years. Because 99% of the time, when you have dialysis requirements, there's nothing wrong with your kidneys. The arteries that carry the dirty blood into the kidneys are blocked. And the kidneys are releasing a hormone called renin, which drives your blood pressure up. So that's why you have high blood pressure when you have kidney issues. Okay, so you get on this program, blood pressure comes down in the normal range, you start urinating again, you're off of dialysis within weeks. And why would somebody be on dialysis for 25 years? Well, they didn't want a kidney transplant. And over time, it got worse and worse and worse and worse because the doctors were giving them misinformation. People do not get plaque in their arteries from cholesterol. People do not, there is no cholesterol in plaque in the arteries, whether it's in the heart, the brain, the kidneys, your legs. Okay. It's from eating salad dressings and frying in oils, which gives you the plaque in your arteries and, coronary artery disease. And you get vascular dementia because your arteries in your brain get all plugged up with plaque. That's from eating fried foods and salad dressings. Okay. Myself, as Ken said, I'm 81 years old, going on 82. For 72 years, I've been using lemon wedges and lime wedges for my salad dressings with salt. And then I also use a creamy yogurt that's gluten-free and no sugar in it for a creamy dressing if I want some creamy dressing in my salad. I use salad dressing. You go into a restaurant, that salad dressing has been sitting at room temperature on that table all day. Maybe they left it there all night. And so that oil oxidizes and turns into trans fats, heterocyclamines, and acrylides, extremely irritating chemicals which cause plaque in the arteries. It's the salad dressings and cooking oils and fried rice and that kind of stuff that causes your problems, not cholesterol. Alzheimer's disease did not occur until they came up with statin drugs to reduce your cholesterol, because doctors believed that cholesterol causes plaque in your arteries. No, it's salad dressings and cooking oils. When they came out with statin drugs and told you to stop eating eggs, suddenly now we have Alzheimer's disease. So instead of having 7 different dementias, now we got 8. Well, we can get rid of those too. We can get rid of all your dementias, okay? And get on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, get on the Ultimate Daily Classic Tablets, get on our de-stress capsules, get on our Ultimate Niacin Plus, get on the Synaptive, get on, I think I said the Ultimate Daily Classic Tablets, yes I did. Eat 3 eggs 3 times a day with soft yolks, and get rid of all the bad foods, fried foods, processed meats, oils, and glutens, wheat, butter, rice, sugar. I get people, who've been, in a coma for 8 years being fed through a G-tube because they had such terrible dementia. And in 3 days' time, they get up and go back to work because they only thought they were asleep for one night. They didn't realize they were in a coma for 8 years being fed through a G-tube. So we can do miracles, but you have to make really dramatic changes. And of course, all this is in the book Epigenetics. We have this CD series coming out next week. We're very proud of that with Bruce Lipton and myself. We also have the book, called Immortality, and the CD that goes along with it, which looks at the top 10 cultures that live the longest and are the healthiest peoples on earth, what it is they do and what they don't do. Why is it that they live so long? Why is it they live so healthy? Well, it's where they live, what they eat, what they don't eat, how they cook, what they don't cook, and how they supplement. Okay, so all those are available to you. And of course, when you buy them by the case a lot, you get great discounts. And so, you guys get together and buy a case and divide them up when they get there and that kind of stuff. And so I urge you to do this. And when I come there, they're going to lift a travel ban here soon. And I have to go to Taiwan sometime in the next year or so. So when I go to Taiwan, I'll also come through Australia, New Zealand. And I want to come there quicker because I know how to rebuild the Great Barrier Reef. I know how to do that. And that's why I was, again, one of the featured speakers at Tesla. And so we'll rebuild the Great Barrier Reef. And that's going to be my project in Queensland within the next year. I'm very, very excited about that. So, okay, Jamel, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Thank you for that lecture. Wonderful information every single time. Now, this call is open for everybody. I just want to quickly mention we're starting the business follow-up. So this call's about the health. Your people talking to Dr. Wallach, getting the best doctor, I think, on the planet. And Monday is for the distributors. So if you want to build a business, I'm hosting a business call, how to do that with a network marketing model. And that is for everybody. That's posted on the New Zealand page. We've got one of the best network marketers on the planet that's been around, Doc, for a long time. One of the top 25 earners in the industry, Tom Chenault. How are you going, Tom? I'm going to see if I can unmute you, Tom. If you've got a button there on your end.
I'm doing fine, and I've been warned by Jamel and Ken Smith and everybody not to get all too business crazy for all of you, to which I completely refuse to accept that, because I know all of you love these products. I know you would love to get them for less money. We can't do that. We can't give them to you for less money because we have to cut the quality. The only way to get them to you for less money is for you to enroll a few people into your passion, your favorite products, and make a little money, and the price goes down. That's called network marketing. So in the comments, I put all kinds of stuff in there because I know that Jamal is going to hit the button that sends me back to the waiting room at any second. I'm talking too much business, and I'm just going to get the hook, but I'm okay with that. I want you guys to love Dr. Wallach with all of your heart, or whatever you're passionate about. I see Jeanette on here. I'm telling you, she is the cleaning product queen of the world, not just Australia, New Zealand. And congratulations to her. Congratulations to Iguana for winning that huge contest of whatever the TAC trip. Only 65 people in the company did not, they won it. 65 people in the company won it. Guess who didn't win it? Me. Think about that. That's how good they are. Bronwyn, I heard about that run of videos you've been doing. It's unbelievable. Caroline, I know you. You are incredible. Jeanette, I love you with all my heart. Professional network marketer. I'm going to keep talking until they give me the hook. I want you guys to use this piece of paper. This piece of paper is your talk track. This is unbelievable. It's got the 3 most important letters of Youngevity right there at the very top. Take a look at it. Take a picture of it. And all this does, the 3 most important letters of Youngevity are Y-O-U. You. People are going to buy you. They're going to buy your passion. They're going to buy your enthusiasm. They're going to buy you. And if you want to build a big company, and I look at you people putting your glasses on. That's so funny. That's good. I love that. Okay, so here's that piece of paper again. This thing is at 65 days in a wake up. This is your talk track on how to talk about Youngevity. The lifeblood, the backbone of Youngevity is a guy that's been on this call for the last 3 months in a row, Dr. Joel Wallach. That's who's been on here. Your upline probably hasn't been up here. I mean, your 5-star, your ambassador hasn't been up here every night, but Dr. Wallach has, because the guy lives, breathes, and eats the network marketing model and Youngevity. So here's this thing. Here's what you do. You tell your story, and you don't tell some stupid, corny story about yourself. You tell a great story about yourself that people are going to be able to relate to. You guys are looking at me right now going, good golly, Tom has lost so much weight. I can't believe my eyes. What happened? I can't believe it. He's a hockey stick with hair. How did he do that? Well, I started taking that True to Life cleanse, and that baby's unbelievable. It's a liver detox, and I take it every day with the plant-derived minerals, with my essential fatty acid. I do it all because I'm a Dr. Wallachaholic. That's exactly right. Tom Chenault is a Dr. Wallachaholic. So I take the vitamins, I take the minerals every day. I'm taking this detox. I am losing weight like it's going out of style in a healthy manner. And that's what I'm passionate about right this minute. Why? Because I've been with Dr. Wallach for 20 years. What happened to me then? I fell in love with him. I got sober. I haven't had a drink in 32 years. I love this whole deal. It's unbelievable. But you know what? Here's what happened to me then. I hooked on to Dr. Wallach's lifetime of dedication to nutrition. So then I grabbed his story because I didn't have a story yet. And then what did I do? I started studying his groundwork like all of you people do. You just figure it out. You know all 68 minerals. You know all the vitamins. You know the name of all of them. I'm happy for you. That's on the website. Then you decided to start elevating your own health and you started taking 90 for life. Then you started saying, holy mackerel, I'm getting better physically. I'm getting better emotionally. I wonder if I could get better financially. And you start saying, how do I do that? And you get with your upline on here, Lisa Barney, all the way from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Dr. Wallach, she's on here. That's unbelievable. We've got Jeanette on here, one of the highest ranks of Youngevity. We've got, and you ask them how they did it. You ask Jamel how he did it. You ask Ken Smith, and they say, I buy from myself. I look inside of Youngevity and I figure out what I can buy from myself before I buy from the department store. That is called transfer buying. And then you say to yourself, holy mackerel, I can do that. And then you say to people, man, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a customer? Because I'm going to enroll 100 people into Youngevity. 80 of them are going to be customers. 80 of them, I'm going to be the best customer service person on the planet. They're never going to want to go to Amazon. They're never going to want to go to eBay. They're not going to go to anywhere but to me because I'm that good. 15 of them are going to say, I want to be distributors. You say, put up 50 bucks, you start getting a discount on your products. That's simple. And then 4 or 5 of them are going to be just like you, hopefully, just like me for sure, who is obsessed with bringing in 100 people, just like that, just like Jamal is, just like Jeanette is. I don't care if you do it with the cleaning products. I don't care if you do it with Jamberry. I don't care if you do it with 90 for Life. I just want you to build a solid foundation business. And then I want you to get 4 people to believe you, and those 4 people to believe them, and those 16 people be held below their 4 to find their 4, which is 64. Then you take that down one more level and it becomes 256. And all of a sudden this network marketing with a big check starts to make sense to you. And we're going to show you that on Monday. I told you too much already. I'm in trouble already. I'm going to get another, I'm going to get another lecture from Ken Smith. I'm going to get another lecture, but I'm willing to risk that because Dr. Wallach needs generals. We have so many soldiers, but we need generals. And Dr. Wallach wants to develop generals. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, he got with me, said, Tom, I'm going to build an army and I want you to help me do it. And I said, that's fine. And I said, I'm in. And I called some people. I called a guy named Craig Walcott who called Lisa Barney. She's been here as long as I have. And we got together and we locked arms and the rest is history. Now we've got gigantic organizations, but we need more generals. So we're going to develop that leadership. And those of you that are nodding, like Jeanette and Annette, and anybody remind that, that rhymes, Jeanette and Annette rhyme. I guess you have to have that kind of name. Mandy, I'm looking at you. That's exciting that your hair is on fire. It makes me happy. Joanna, I never say your name right. You are breaking records. You are the quietest warrior on the planet. I am so completely proud of you. Deb Flanagan, my old buddy, you are incredible. Mandy, I love you. It just works. I promise you guys that. If you just let the comp plan work for you instead of you working the comp plan. Caroline Thomas, I don't know if I said your name because I never remember what came out of my mouth, if I did or I didn't. Michael, it is so good to see you down there on the beach. I know you guys can do this. So let's, Karen Hammond, oh my God, my woman who understands community. That's what I want you guys to do. Hop in the foxhole with me. Let's make this Australia, New Zealand roar. And it will. It is. My buddy Jeanette Anderson knows Lisa Grossman. She knows Ken Cito. She knows all the hot shots. And you know what? She's going to say the same thing that I say, that the Australia, New Zealand, Melbourne is absolutely the gateway to the rest of the world. And if you build a business, you should build it from Australia, New Zealand, because that's where the people are. That's where this business is going. And you people are at ground zero. You've got the opportunity of a lifetime in front of you. All you have to do is understand that there are going to be obstacles called everything Youngevity, but you've got to knock that wall down, climb over that wall, dig under it, but don't let those things stop you. Just like Dr. Wallach's never let anything stop him. So back to you, Jamal, and I will never be invited again, but I'm okay with that. I love you, buddy. Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you, Tom Chenault, one of the top 25 earners in the whole industry. He is with Youngevity, company that's over 20 years old. And Dr. Wallach, I believe, is the best doctor on the planet. I'm going to be hosting the business calls on Monday for everybody at 2 p.m. Look at the New Zealand Facebook page for the information there. We're going to go to questions in the next minute or so. Unfortunately, we lost a great rock star. Eddie Van Halen throat cancer, Dr. Wallach, at a young age. Somebody, have you? What are your thoughts on Eddie? Then we'll go to questions.
Okay, well, we have to appreciate that cancer is a self-inflicted problem. It's not genetic. If you stay away from all the bad stuff, the fried foods, the oils, salad dressings, cooking oils, that kind of stuff, stay away from those things. Stay away from the gluten so you can absorb nutrients and defend yourself. Okay, and of course, we have wonderful antioxidants and wonderful products that support the immune system, like the pollen burst. We have the Cell Shield RTQ. We have the BTT 2.0 tablets. We have the cherry berry minerals. We have the Oxy Body. All these things support the immune system and dampen down the inflammation. Now, cancer is a self-inflicted disease. It doesn't just happen to you. It happens to people who do the worst things to themselves by eating all the bad stuff, the fried foods, the processed meats, the oils, the glutens, blah, 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 salad dressing, all kinds of stuff. And they don't take any vitamins and minerals. And so you will add 25 to 50 healthful years to your life. They will be wonderful years, 25 to 50 extra years. It's going to cost, I don't know, less than 10 bucks a day. It's less than a cup of Starbucks coffee. I don't know, $6-7 a day for a 150 pound to 200 pound person. And you'll add 25 to 50 healthful years of your life. And we do have that quartet of books, Let's Play Doctor, Let's Play Herbal Doctor, Past Working with Therapy, and it's all in your head. Goes into over 600 different diseases that you can prevent and reverse. Those books go into 600 different diseases that you can prevent and reverse. That's why my thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. I have to tell you, when my thesis first came out and they were selling it as a textbook, hardcover, 5,000 pages kind of thing, they sold it for $25,000 each. They made 30,000 of them and they sold them in 6 months at $25,000 each. Now today, if you can get a used one, and I just checked with Siri, okay, and Amazon, I think there's 5 or 6 of them for sale, used and in good condition. They sell the cheapest one, which is the most beat up one, is like $4,500, but the rest of them are like $9,000, $10,000. Okay, and these are used in notes in the borders and margins and stuff like that. I'm not asking you to buy those books, okay? You can go to the library and check one out, okay? Read it. But I'm saying that for credibility. I'm saying that for credibility. And it's because I was able to show what everybody was saying was incorrect. Just like for 10,000 years, Jamel, everybody knew that the spring fever was due to evil spirits. Everybody knew that for 10,000 years until an 18-year-old medical student from England who was studying in India came by. The microscopes came out at that time, and he saw the parasite in the red blood cells called malaria. Now, they've been using quinine since 1635 from the cinchona bark from the tree in Peru. And every spring they could, people get disease, they'd give them the quinine and it'd go away. Well, they'd have to give it to them again the next year because it'd come right back. Well, he recognized it was mosquitoes transferring it, wrote that up in a little newsletter, in an English medical newsletter. That was 1895. Well, in 1939, another medical student by the name of Paul Mueller from Sweden came out with DDT. He was a chemist and he was tinkering around and came up with DDT to spray on the mosquitoes in the swamps. And by spraying the swamps with DDT in 6 months' time, he ended 10,000 years of the spring fever because he interrupted the cycle of the parasite. Okay. Trying to kill the parasite didn't quite cut it because it kept coming back. Well, the same thing is true with the COVID. Okay. You have to do more than wash your hands, put a mask on, do social distancing, and get a vaccine. And that's going to help. I don't say don't do those things, but you still have to get rid of the bad foods so you can absorb the nutrients, so you can feed your bone marrow, which is your immune system, so they can make the antibodies and the white blood cells to go and kill and eat the viruses. So you need to do that other piece, which is the piece that's missing. It's why everybody, they distance themselves, they wash their hands, they put on a mask, and the curve of infections goes down. Everybody, yay, it's over with. And they start taking the mask off. They don't wash their hands. They don't social distance anymore. And they get together and it spikes again and kills another 10,000 people. Okay, that's because they haven't changed the basic underlying problem. They're still eating wheat. They're not taking the 90 essential nutrients, which are required for your bone marrow to make white blood cells and antibodies to kill the virus. So we still need to do that piece. If we do that, the pandemics that have been coming every 5 or 10 years for the past 10,000 years will stop coming. Just like we don't see or hear much about malaria anymore because we sprayed the swamps every year and killed the mosquitoes. We don't care about the parasite because we're interfering with the mosquitoes, transferring the parasite from one person to the next. That was more effective than a vaccine and more effective than killing the parasite. Back to you.
Thanks, Doc. And don't forget, everybody, the best way to get a question to Dr. Wallach is to type into the chat box. So we're going to go straight to questions, but I just sort of quickly add to that. We just saw on the news, politics aside, President of the USA was diagnosed with COVID, had a treatment of some sort. But Dr. Wallach, if you were giving him a nutritional protocol, it'd be everything that you've said today, off the bad foods and onto the 90 and the extra things.
That's correct.
Yes. So I just remember you in my head every time I hear that story. I think, oh, Doc's got to give him some information here. So
well, it's difficult to get through. It's difficult to get through because all of the people who surround him have their idea what's going on. Just like everybody in the environmental industry knows incorrectly, but they think they know the answer, that the reason why the carbon dioxide is going up in the atmosphere is because of carbon fuel and cars burning it and furnaces and all that kind of stuff and buses. No, it's because they've dammed up the river and shut off the food supply to the algae. And so the algae, which makes up 3/5 of the world's plant life, can't take the carbon dioxide out of the air because we cut off the food supply to the ocean by damming up the rivers for electricity. That's the problem. So until just kind of like for 10,000 years, they knew the spring fever was due to evil spirits. And as long as they still believe that the COVID is due to the evil spirits, right, they're going the wrong direction with the treatment, it's going to be a spike and a going down and a spike and going down because they haven't dealt with the basic underlying problem.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Wallach. I'm being asked, is this call recorded? Yes, it is recorded, and it will be posted on the New Zealand Facebook page over the next day or two. Eb, if you want to unmute yourself and go ahead.
Okay, actually, I have Raelene on the call with us. Right, so Raelene's 65 years old, 145 pounds, 5'6", and has allergic bronchopulmonary fungal disease.
Raelene, go ahead if you can hear us.
Hi, yeah, I've just unmuted it. So. But Debbie's doing really well.
I nearly got it out.
Go ahead,
fungal infection of the lungs.
Okay, you have to go
the
back.
last 10 years, which is very debilitating.
Okay, what do you have with the lungs?
It's basically a fungal infection in the lungs.
Okay, and you're how old?
65.
Okay, do you have any ringing in the ears? Do you have any of that tone, noise?
No, I don't, but my sinuses don't work at all.
Okay, do you have any hiccups?
Nope.
Do you have any balance problems or dizziness?
No.
Do you have anything going on in your hands or arms, like tingling or numbness in your fingers or trigger finger or carpal tunnel syndrome?
Occasionally, but not a lot. I did have carpal tunnel about 20 years ago.
Okay, comes and goes. Okay. Do you have any low back stuff? Any sciatica, burning, numbness, tingling in your feet and toes and back? Okay. And you're how old?
65.
And you don't have any arthritis or nothing?
Oh, not too. Doesn't keep me debilitated or anything like that. It's
Well, that's not the answer. Okay.
not that I know of.
Do you have any high blood pressure or diabetes?
No.
Okay. And you weigh 145 pounds?
Believe so. 63 kilos. So.
Yeah, about 145 pounds. So
yeah.
I want you to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye, oats, no sugar. Get rid of all the inflammation. And then I want you to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. I want you to get the big hammer here because of your age. Okay, I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want you to get 1 bottle a month of our MSM. So you can take 3 of those twice a day or 2, 3 times a day. And that's going to help rebuild your skull. It's going to help you rebuild your joints, your knees and your shoulders and your fingers and your toes and your back and so forth. Also, you need some vitamin D3. I want you to take our vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day to help absorb all these minerals from your intestines, so you can and put them in your bones properly. Then you're going to need the collagen. I want you to get our collagen, which is in a bottle of capsules. You can get 2 of those bottles, take 5 3 times a day, or if you prefer the collagen peptides, it's a powder you can put in your drink. I take both. I take the powder, collagen peptides, and the glucogel capsules. And then, because again of your age, I want you to get the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Get 2 bottles of that, so you can take 3 of those twice a day. That's going to increase the circulation of blood in the arteries in your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your legs and arms, and so forth. Do you have any varicose veins or spider veins in your legs?
No.
Okay. I know the answer, but do you have any white, gray, or silver hair?
I have gray. Yeah, totally.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is caused by deficiency of a particular nutrient. That same nutrient usually causes varicose veins and our spider veins. It can also result in aneurysms. I'll tell you a quick story about Michael Jackson. Remember that singer Michael Jackson, black fella?
Yep.
He had snow white skin. His skin was as white as typing paper. His hair was as white as typing paper. And he wore gloves with jewels on it, so the kids thought that was part of his uniform, but he was hiding the fact that his hands were whiter than a white person's hands. He had snow white hair, and he had vitiligo. Every millimeter of his skin was white, and he had varicose veins, and he also had an aortic aneurysm, which ruptured and killed him when he was 51 years of age. It's all caused by deficiency of a single mineral. Everybody wants to know, what is that mineral? What is that mineral? Well, we put it in as a cofactor in our selenium. So don't run to the store and buy some selenium from Walgreens or some other drugstore or something, okay? Because they're going to have a very cheap selenium that is selenium, but it doesn't have all the other cofactors. We have that cofactor in there. The hair color will come back, which tells you that your veins, your arteries are healing on the inside, okay? And also that same mineral that's in that our selenium actually helps rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, discs between the vertebrae, skin. You lose a lot of skin wrinkles and stuff like that, which are caused by a deficiency of that nutrient. Okay, so you're going to get a lot of benefit by taking these things. In the meantime, you're going to add 25 to 50 healthful years to your life. You'll add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life by taking this program I laid out for you and avoiding the bad stuff so you can maximize absorption. Is it worth $5 or $6 a day US? Of course it is. To add 25 years to 50 years to your life, absolutely. Because you're going to be with your kids, your grandkids, your loved ones, your spouse or boyfriend or whoever it is. And, and you want to get this information to the people you love so they can be with you. Okay. I mean, this is, all the people who are in Youngevity are my family. Now, I started the company because as a naturopathic physician, I could only see maybe 15, 20 patients a day. And then I was kind of running ragged because I had to do my own lab work and stuff like that. Well, when I started the network marketing company, I see 2 million patients a day now. They all get the same answer to the same question because I have 15 books, 55 DVDs, and 110 CDs, which you can get by going to www.drjwallach.com. www.drjwallach.com, all in lowercase, drj Wallach, WALLACH.com, all lowercase. And if you get quantity, so you're going to be buying them for the people in your organization, for your families, for presents and graduation presents and wedding presents and baby presents and things, everybody will get the same information for the same health question, as opposed to if I had 2 million patients and everybody out there is having to come up with their own thing, and somebody's a carpenter and somebody's a car mechanic and this one's an IT person here, and this one is a cook, and they're all being asked, well, what do I do for diabetes? They're all going to give different answers, and it's going to be a mess. And so that's why I came up with these tools, so that people will all give the same answer to the same question, Together, they deal with over 600 different diseases. Okay. You can get a hair analysis by going to our book, Rare Earths and Cures. Chapter 10, 11 tells you how to collect the hair, how to box it up, where to ship it to. It'll tell you by all the bars that for all the minerals, if they're all down below the bottom line, you're not absorbing. If they're kind of all over the place, you know which ones add extra in addition to the 90 essential nutrients. Equally important, there's a set of information off to the side on another chart. How many of the and how much of the bad toxic minerals you have, like lead and mercury and uranium and stuff like that. That's important because if you have those things, we also have the detoxing stuff, including our herbal rainforest, which is a great detoxifant for these terrible things that cause cancer and so forth. And so you have to be on top of it. Now, you can do your own, you can go to a pharmacy, even in Australia, New Zealand, without a prescription to get the test strips for urine and blood. You can get your own machine and do your own blood pressure. You can take your own pulse, you can weigh yourself. You can take your own temperature. You don't need to spend $100 US for a office call. You don't have to spend $200 for a lab fee. Okay, you can do it yourself, and you can determine if you have diabetes or not. You can determine if you have high blood pressure or not. Because when people go to the doctor, they're at risk. The third leading cause of death that's caused by doctors is medical errors. In the United States alone, medical doctors through medical errors each year in hospitals alone, doesn't count all of their clinics, but just in the hospitals, medical doctors in America kill 251,000 to 440,000 Americans every year in hospitals from just simple medical errors. Why would you want to go be put in the hospital for a week and let them run tests on you and kill you? You can do it yourself for $3 or $4.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are
Thanks, Doc.
almost at the end of the show. We're going to try and squeeze in one or two more calls for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Lance, unmute yourself and you can ask Dr. Wallach your question. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Doc. Thanks for your time.
Yes.
Gina and I have been on board Youngevity for 3 or 4 years now. About 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with HOCM, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And before I got onto the Youngevity, I went to the cardiologist who said, give you some statin drugs, some beta blockers. We can put a defibrillator in. We can operate. We can put some alcohol into your heart muscle, kill part off, or we can do open heart surgery and remove part of your heart muscle. And didn't like any of those suggestions. I did start on the statin drugs for a short period and also the beta blockers. I felt terrible. I lost a lot of muscle mass, felt fairly unwell. So stopped all those now about 2 to 3 years ago and have been on the 90 and extra selenium. So I'm taking more selenium per day. And also the, what's the one we've run out of?
Ultimate Daily Classic or Cardio Sticks?
Ultimate
or...
Daily Classic, yeah, which we've run
Okay.
at the moment. But
okay, so you've improved, right?
yeah, so I feel well, but I've just applied for a position which I really have been chasing for quite some time, and they found that my blood pressure was slightly elevated, 170 over 80.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and how much do you weigh now?
So I'm in pounds. I'm 170 pound.
Okay, so what you want to do is add to your program you're already doing. You want to add to it the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I'd get 3 bottles a month. So you can take 3 of those with each meal. It'll support healthy blood pressure. The blood pressure will come down. It'll support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your arms and legs, and so forth. You'll be a totally new man. And the thing that saved you, the thing that you didn't die from that hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, is the selenium. Now, Dr. Milan and I have done 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 that have died of that in Qishan province, China. It's called Qishan disease in China. And it's in the United States, we have 25,000 young athletes under the age of 25, okay, under the age of 20, who die from that every year. And of course, that's why we put the extra selenium into our rebound or sports drink to prevent that from happening. But yeah, these are very easy things. They're very scary. If you don't do the right thing, you can die from, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, heart disease, AFib, tachycardia, all that stuff. So you made the right choice to stay away from the doctor, because all they were doing was going to give you drugs to deal with the symptoms, and you'd still die from that hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, heart disease, because none of it had the secret sauce in it that was going to solve the problem. Okay, we may have time for one more here.
Okay, let's go to, we've got time for like one quick question. Michael, if you want to unmute yourself, we've got a question about tinnitus. Go ahead, Michael. Let us know where you're from too, so we all know where you are from in the show.
Yeah, Michael, can you hear me?
Sure can. Go
Yes,
ahead.
we hear you. Mhm.
Okay, I'm in Melbourne, 71, 175 pounds and 5'11". I'll just throw some symptoms at you, Doc. Don't catch them, but I just want to talk about it. I've got gluten intolerance, a few spider veins, a little bit of arrhythmia, and I was pre-diabetic years ago, but I got over that. So I just wondered, what do you think about those?
Okay, those are all nutritional deficiencies. And did he say he had tinnitus ringing in the ears?
Yes.
Okay, that means you have osteoporosis of the skull, and your skull is squeezing the auditory branch of the 8th cranial nerve. And so we have a book out. Okay, this book is called It's All in Your Head. It goes into the 25 different diseases that you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. There's over 100 different diseases when you have osteoporosis of the body. And so I urge you to get a hold of that quartet of books. Let's Play Doctor, Let's Play Herbal Doctor, Passport to Therapy, and It's All in Your Head. It'll teach you how to deal with 600 different diseases. Everything you got is a nutritional deficiency. Get off the bad foods, get on your 90, take your extra secret sauces for the particular disease. You'll add 25 years to your life. God bless you. I want you to come on every time I come on, because you're going to tell a great story. You will be a saving story and testimony to a lot of people. God bless you.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. And that website is drjwallach.com. If you are in Australia or New Zealand, you need to go to that website and call up. And that's how you get and that we use those as tools to build our business. We're going to do a 2 p.m. call on Monday for the business builders. All welcome. This call is posted always on the New Zealand page. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. I'm going to quickly unmute, and everybody can say aloha and g'day till next week.
Okay, aloha and good day, all my friends and relatives. I love you all. I can't wait till they lift the travel ban and we'll be together.
Yeah.
And it'll be wonderful. I can't wait.
Dr. Wallach. All the best.
Fantastic.
Okay, good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
God bless. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
G'day, this is Jamel Boukabou, 2-star executive with Youngevity International. You are about to hear from who I believe is the best doctor on the planet, Dr. Joel Wallach, including a Q&A, and also one of the highest income earners on the planet, one of the top 25 in direct selling, Tom Chenault, Diamond Ambassador. And he is going to be on the call as well. And we are going to do a business call on Monday. So if you want to know more about the business, contact your associate, your upline. If you don't have one, contact myself, Jamel Boukabou, 2-star executive. I am not a doctor. I am not a healthcare professional, but I am a distributor for Youngevity 90 for life. So hope you get something out of this call. Leave a comment, a message, share it, and I will see you on the next one. Aloha.